Everyone ready?
Okay.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Gholson City Council at 7:39. Rick, do you want to lead us in prayer?
I'd love to. Almighty God, as we humbly approach your throne, we just ask for just tonight that we manage with decisions, with consideration, with care, with kindness, with heart, with fairness. Lord, we just pray that as we go through the items tonight, that just you reign supreme, Lord. We're unworthy of your sacrifice, Lord. Just pray that we have your spirit in here with us, amongst us, as we try to navigate just managing what's best for all of us, Lord, and being together in the service and community. We lift you up in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Approval of minutes. I got an approval for the October 23 regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Rick makes a motion that we approve. Jonathan seconds. All in favor? Holly? Unanimous. Citizen comment. Public is invited to address the council. The public is respectfully requested to limit their comment to 5 minutes. The public should identify their name, street, city, and may address any subject. By state law, the council may not engage in any matter not listed on the agenda. The city policy is that each person who desires to address the council must speak on his or her own behalf and may not reserve or grant time to another person. Anyone want any citizen comment? Information to be received. Mayor's report. So, there's the mayor's report. We got a couple things going on. Obviously, you guys heard Joanne Drive was resurfaced today. I don't know what. So they fixed all the potholes on that. It is going to be on the schedule to be resurfaced at the beginning of next year, along with Will and Trace and Brazos Loop. Thank you. Second item, and this is something I want to cover. I got a letter from Pete Sessions, and he's steering us towards some grant groups. And basically, this last month, we spent chasing receipts, or at least I did. I've been up at City Hall. I was up 2 days last week, and I spent a good chunk of today going back and chasing the receipts. I'm gonna let council deal with the majority of stuff because he's gotten the letter. But I am going to cover a couple transactions. On 7/17/2024, that was a receipt that was missing under my watch. 5/22/24, Chance Bradbury. 4/9/24, Chance Bradbury. 4/9/24, Chance Bradbury. 4/10/24, Chance Bradbury. 4/16/24, Chance Bradbury. 4/24, Chance Bradbury. 3/21/24, Chance Bradbury. 1/10/24, Chance Bradbury. 1/18/24, Chance Bradbury. 5/19/23, Chance Bradbury. 9/18/23, Chance Bradbury. 10/19/23, Chance Bradbury. 12/13/23, Chance Bradbury. 12/20/23, Chance Bradbury. I don't for a second think that there was anything going wrong when Chance was homeless. I think these receipts were just a simple oversight. I'm going to let the council deal with that. But I just wanted to address that because I know it's out there. Everyone's concerned about missing receipts. So these are the missing receipts. They're all with the mayor that they are correspondent to. So if anyone wants to take a copy of that home, have at it. City Secretary. Got a report?
I went to the thing in Fort Worth, the TML annual thing, and you saw some of the stuff that I brought back from all the, like, basically they have a bunch of booths set up with a bunch of different vendors, and I got a lot of contacts, and I'm gonna try and get you guys some estimates on stuff to help move the park along. I'll have to show, I need to show you all the little booklets and stuff I got, but it was good. I went to a round table discussion about small cities and grants, and I learned a couple of new resources there that I can check out. I'm just not good at speaking publicly, that's about it. It was informative.
Counselor, City Attorney report?
So if you'll look in your packet, you'll actually have a letter titled September 25th, 2025 complaint. What I would do, and what I'll do, is I'll go through each of these categories, go through exactly what I did, and then go to my conclusion for each one. And I'm happy to take questions at the end of it. So one of the main things is that Billy Sparks filed a complaint on September 25th, 2025. It was a complaint for misappropriation of public funds. It alleged that there were $360.78 for missing receipts, $197.39 spent on chips, when it shouldn't have been, according to Mr. Sparks, $187.75 spent on drinks, when it shouldn't have been, $126.72 of items purchased for alleged personal use, $236.40 spent on a very lavish meal at Braddock's Landing, $90.97 in sales tax payments, and then $95.02 purchase order dated November 17, 2022, that contained the signature of Billy Sparks that he alleged had been forged. So the total of all these items is $1,304.03. So the steps I took is I went through and I spoke with the mayor, I spoke with the current city secretary, Sarah Fortune, I spoke with prior Mayor Chance Bradbury, prior Mayor Taylor Jackson, went and spoke with prior City Secretary Molly McGraw, and I also spoke with Mr. Sparks, who actually filed the complaint, guiding his perspective on things. The different records I looked at, so I looked at the complaint, which is also attached further in the packet, you see that as attachment A. I went through and looked at receipts, and I also then looked through the credit card statements themselves. So that's the documents that the city still have access to. Now, potential legal actions that could come from this would have been filing some sort of theft case. You can file that as a civil case in which you're trying to actually reclaim those funds for civil theft, or criminally, and that would be for a district or county attorney. The other thing would be a forgery. Just to go through exactly what theft is, theft occurs when a person unlawfully appropriates property with intent to deprive the owner of property. If it's less than 100, it's a Class C. If it's between 100 and 750, that's a Class B misdemeanor. And then if it's between 750 and 2,500, that's a Class A misdemeanor. I only have jurisdiction to do a Class C offense. Anything above that would actually need to be referred to the Clinton County District and County Attorney. The amount is calculated looking at the total over time, not each isolated incident. So you don't look at the $3, $3, you look at everything over time, and that gets the total amount. Forgery occurs when a person alters, makes, completes, executes, or authenticates any writings that purports to be the act of another who did not authorize that act. It's a Class C misdemeanor for falls beneath $100, so that's the only actual offense punishment level I looked at for that. In terms of the missing receipts, so we have missing receipts from the following stores: Dollar General, Sefco, Walmart, Sunoco, Brady's Grub, McDonald's, HEB, and Honey Bear. The largest amount would be $54.75 from HEB, so we're looking at very small amounts and under. One of the things I did was I asked the city secretary to pull receipts for transactions that we should have receipts for. So of the ones that we had listed of not having receipts, I looked at those, confirmed those were missing, and then I found other things. What I was hoping to find is seeing comparable purchases in Sefco and other places. What I found is that some other receipts are also missing, so it seems that there's a larger problem than what Billy actually identified. One example would be an HEB purchase on March 30th for $26, and then a Huggy Bear Food Mart purchase for about $17.64. We did have the Dollar General purchase, so it looks like of some of the ones I pulled, we were able to find some of those. What I concluded is that there is likely more missing receipts for small amounts and things like that. The issue comes is that I can't prove that the conduct was innocent I can't also prove that the conduct is guilty. If the city were to try to reclaim those funds, it would have to prove by preponderance of the evidence in a civil case that there was some sort of wrongdoing or appropriation, and the county and district attorney would have to prove beyond the reasonable doubt. I don't think the city, based on the information that it actually has access to and the interviews and things I've done, can meet that burden in either regard. Because the city is going to bear that burden. It's all right to ask questions and question things, but when I'm actually having to build a case, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. Now, there's two actions the city can take. The first would be actually hiring an investigator. I think that's different than a forensic audit. What I mean is an investigator who can go out to the different places who claim to find those missing receipts and actually go through and conduct interviews in an actual investigation style. Normally, the investigator we use would charge $60 an hour, and he's doing it at a manageable rate at that time. That's for court appointments. It might be higher if he's doing something more private thing. I can't recommend that. I don't think that the information is going to be reclaimable. We're looking at 3-year-old receipts that we're going to have to try to get from multiple different businesses. There's no active cases open, so it's unlikely that we're going to be able to get things through any sort of subpoenas or things like that. Hiring an investigator at this time, it's likely that you're going to spend as much as is lost, and you're not going to be able to reclaim that with any certainty. I don't think the city is going to meet that burden to go through it. The other thing is already occurring. It's basically establishing more control systems. I think this is a problem that occurred because the city council wasn't actually watching its credit card statements and making sure it was double checking those things the last couple of years. So implementing and continuing those control systems is going to be essential. The harder part between implementing though is actually keeping them maintained, and that's going to be a very proactive part of the city council's job. So once you get those systems created, it's about making sure that you're actually doing them as you go. So I'd recommend continuing down that path and making sure that you are reconciling receipts and actually questioning whether or not these SEPCO purchases and things like that are things that need to be done, why they're being done, things like that. In terms of chips and drinks, the idea was that there's a $385.14 total of chips and drinks that were purchased. Talking to Mr. Sparks, what he indicated is that they had a community event 2 years ago, and there was an abundance of chips and drinks after the event. And so they kind of left those because they weren't used for that one-time event, and people went and actually ate them over time. However, when other people came in, I think they told me they assumed it was still a city policy of some sort, so it seems that somehow was misconstrued or continued over time. I can't tell where the breakdown is, and I can't tell why the city policy became like an unofficial policy or who kind of ordered it and continued it. I don't think that the city is going to be able to prove, because we don't know where the items went, we don't know how they were used, by either a civil preponderance of the evidence or a criminal district county attorney can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that those were items that were taken and appropriated, that they were used by an individual. It could go either way. So without being able to meet that burden of proof, I can't recommend doing any sort of further action. What I would state is that in December, the city council needs to actually have an action item to determine that they want to maintain that policy and actually put something more effective in writing. The question would be, does the city council want to purchase chips and drinks and other such things for the citizens? How are you going to actually do that, and what kind of price tag do you want to set for limitations? So I would recommend doing that in the future, and you can take that up next month. Or I'll keep going, but let me finish this.
Okay.
I'll answer your question though, Billy. For alleged personal use, so there were 13 items that were listed as potential personal uses. These would total $126.72. I think the city will run into the same problem with those. While specific items might seem to indicate that one person is using them, I'm not going to be able to track down how that was used, when it was purchased, and who did it. And so because of that nature, I don't think I can meet that burden of proving that by preponderance of the evidence. The one thing in there that I do think does merit some consideration, there was a $50 purchase for Waco Waffle. I understand that was a business expense in which 3 people, 2, I think it was the mayor, the city secretary at that time, and I think someone from Pete Sessions' office, had a working lunch, and so they offered to buy him lunch from there. I don't see an issue if you're doing that for those kinds of meetings and things like that. That does kind of fall in that gambit. What I would say is there's no policy on the matter, and there's no direction from the city council. So I'd recommend in December you take that up about how much of a limitation, when you want to do that, and if you think the city should be doing that. As long as you have some sort of policy that prohibits that from going beyond excess, then you should be okay. And you would want to make sure that you're watching that more closely. The Brazos Landing meal, there was a $236.40 dinner purchased at the Brazos Landing. That's been repaid at this time, and that's attachment B. That receipt was reimbursed by the mayor. What I recommend is the city council actually look at the Texas per diem rates, and so you can actually see the limitations on that. And I'd avoid things of that magnitude, unless they're pre-authorized by the council and things of that nature. For the sales tax payments, there was a $92.97 in sales tax that were given to 7 different businesses. Normally, a city doesn't have to pay sales tax. They have forms and things that help exempt them. Now, the city can go and actually reclaim those sales tax amounts. What they would have to do is send some sort of writing to those businesses, asking them for them to return the amount of money. If the businesses decline to do that after receiving something in writing, then the city could go and actually make a print of their online request to the comptroller and then attempt to reclaim those. I actually don't think the city needs to pursue that. I think the cost of postage, the time and manpower is going to override the savings they'll get by going after that amount. I think the city just needs to take more care of making sure they bring those forms and actually don't pay the sales tax amounts. If it was large and it was kind of one business, you could send that one letter, that would be different, but just sending those to 7 different businesses to keep a track, it's just gonna be a waste of time and money at this point. It's better to cut your losses. Finally, there is a forged purchase order complaint. The idea being that on November 17, 2022, someone forged Billy Sparks' signature. So that pay order is attached to the complaint. It was for 2 items of copy paper and a stapler. Those would be items that are purchased by a city. Without more information on where they went, I couldn't say that they were for personal use. I think that there's a burden of proof problem like the rest of them. The other thing is, I think there's a good indication that that signature probably isn't Billy's based on other signatures we have of his throughout the last couple of years, and even compared to the signature on the complaint. However, I don't think it would trigger the forgery statute because I don't see how it was used for anyone's benefit of whoever signed that. What I would say is just make sure you're actually looking at your orders and making sure that whoever is doing those is actually going to the correct person. So for that reason, I wouldn't worry about that issue, but just keep that in mind. You need to watch your employees as they go. At this time, I just recommend December kind of putting those couple action items on, writing more established policies. I don't think there's anything left to do in terms of reclaiming money just because the losses were so small. And I just really think the city is going to have problems trying to prove anything up in court and meeting its burden. Because the city will bear that burden. I have to go in and prove that this person did something illegal. Even if there's questions, the law will give them the benefit of the doubt because I bear that burden. And so that puts me in a different position than I think a lot of people looking at it and asking questions solely. I guess now I'll turn it over to questions.
Go ahead, Bill.
I just wanted to point out something, Dave. You talked to me Wednesday, I believe it was. I was in Longview at the time. And I think I explained to you that time. I was in 2019, 2020, when the city hall was completed. We were gonna have an open house. They wanted to have hamburgers and hot dogs and soda water and chips. So they went and bought a bunch of stuff. Very few people came to them. So we ended up with 4 trash bags full of soda water left and a bunch of chips. We couldn't take them back and get our money back or nothing. So at that point in time, we took those and people drank them and ate the chips and everything. That was never a policy put in place. It was leftovers from that event. And like I said, we couldn't take them back and get our money back. But,
I think that's kind of what I was going for. I wasn't
well,
trying to
it
misconstrue
didn't
it.
kind of read that way, but anyway, I explained all that to you that day you talked to me and stuff. And, so there was never any unofficial thing to do. It was just, I told you that we've never done anything other than that. That was the reason that it got. Now, we did have a Santa Claus thing up here one time, and there was candy left over, and that, the same thing happened with it. And we also have a Halloween deal up here one year. Trick or treat, and they gave that over to the same, that street the same way. There's never a policy to have drinks and stuff and candy or whatever here at the city hall. That was never
The way I phrase it is it became some sort of unofficial policy, but it was never something approved by the council. I don't know where that started.
Hi, my name is Priscilla Cooper and I live off Veterans Way. So my question is, I have a few questions. So you brought up an investigator, but you kind of didn't say anything about a forensic interview. And then another thing I'm wondering, like, I understand there's gray areas everywhere, but when you say that you don't feel like there was any ill intent or whatever to forging a signature, well, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and forging a signature is illegal, for one, even if it was just for 2 reams of copy paper or a stapler. And then there was another thing that I had to say. My mind's going blank right now.
You want me to answer your 2 questions right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So on the forensic accountant, I don't think a forensic accountant is needed because of the cost of it. You heard from Bill Sanders, kind of the rates and things like that.
How much?
30,000.
I don't know the exact amount, and no one's given me a quote on it. What I do know is that it's going to be 100 or so, and I think you're going to eat up that amount because you're looking at $1,300 of total funds spread across everything. That will be eaten up. I mean, attorney bills $225 an hour. The other thing is that what the accountant would need is things like receipts. That's what's missing from a lot of this. The work wouldn't necessarily be the accountant going on a spreadsheet and tracking everything. A big part of it would also be someone having to go to these different businesses and trying to get them to give him those receipts so that you can give them to an accountant. That's why I was thinking more of an investigator, because that falls more on them actually going to those locations and trying to get that information.
So you can see them on the bank statements though, right? Like this is a credit card, so you can see it on the statement, right? So when I get anything on my account that I can't see what it is, usually you call, the bank will tell you to call the vendor and try to sort it out with them before you sort out, whichever. But however, with every transaction, there should be some sort of like reference number or something of that nature, right? So if there is, whenever you contact these retailers, because anybody who has access to that account or whose name is on that account can go through those statements themselves and call these people and say, hey, I have this transaction on this card. Could you look up my card number in your system and tell me what was purchased? And if they say that you have to come up there with an ID and the card, you can still go up there with an ID and the card and have them print you out copies. So you wouldn't necessarily need an investigator to do that. All you would need is whoever is authorized on that account to bring those receipts up.
The issue is going to be the time of, for instance, having our one employee go up and do that. And a lot of those transactions are 3 years old or so. It's just the cost of it for what is a very small amount, I think is going to be overriding any benefit. And that's why I said investigators, because also businesses are not going to really care about trying to give you things, especially when they have to look about 3 years old. So you would need someone that's able to push a little harder and knows how to do it effectively. Doing criminal defense, that's one of the reasons I suggested that, is because our person's able to, for instance, get people to confess when they wouldn't have any interest in doing so. And that's because of his experience and things like that. Now you could have the employee authorized to go do that, and that could be how you want to spend their time. And then if they hit any obstacles, then the city council can consider getting someone else. I just don't see that as worth it at this point, given the amount, more of a cost-benefit analysis.
How many people are authorized on that card?
So that would have been the city council members, and then it would have been the city secretary for the last couple of years. And whenever you look at the statements, that's the issue, is that the actual card statements don't indicate who used the card. They don't indicate what items were bought. We just know the transaction, the date, and the location. So that's why that receipt would be needed.
But who's on the card now?
Now it would be, actually I don't know.
Polly, Zach, and Sarah.
It's up to you know now, just those 3 people.
So even though those are old transactions, they could still do it.
Yeah, we have to go to each business, write
totally
everything down.
You might want to explain to her, they're like $12. Like, do you want to pay someone $60 to go chase it down $12?
So when I was initially compiling all this, I did reach out to the district manager because I know her, the Dollar General. She said she can only go back 90 days.
Yeah, a lot of businesses can't go back to that far.
That's just what she told me.
Right.
So I didn't spend a lot of time doing it, but I did attempt to recollect some of the, at least Dollar General ones, because I had a contact there.
Personally, I don't really, over 3 years ago doesn't really bother me per se, you know what I'm saying? But I was just asking for future reference.
Yeah,
basically.
I feel like what we should take away from this is to learn to keep better, you know, records and
Are you ever gonna forget a receipt?
Melissa,
Yeah, but you have a lot- you have
just
a-
to answer your other question before I answer yours, Melissa, you also asked about the forgery.
Mhm.
The issue I mentioned that was you have to show that there's some sort of benefit the person's getting. Let's say the old city secretary put Billy's signature on the order, but now the city is the one getting the paper and the stapler. I think there would be a legal problem trying to pursue a case based on those facts. So, while it might be that it was wrong to put the signature on there, the question is it a forgery? And I think you're gonna run into problems with the legal definition there.
So for the future, I mean, I'm not sure what you have in place right now, but for future references and stuff, when someone takes the card, y'all have like a log sheet that y'all are supposed to sign with the names and everything, right? And then they have to drop off whatever receipts they use.
that's current still. I don't think I've got the final copy yet of the log, but it is in the works.
Just so you're aware too, I know there's a lot of speculation that like the card's just flying around out into the ether. It's really not. Like it's,
So
how many times has it gone out in the last 60 days out of the building?
Well, you put in a spot maybe twice.
It's
So-
in there.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like when you say that the log is gonna work, I mean, all you have to do is print out a paper with like a
They
name and
approved
signature and
it,
date
and then
and where it's
If
going.
they approved it, then why are we not using it?
you want to speak to that, when's there like,
What I'd say is that they're going to start using it.
When?
I don't know, it's whenever Holly and them can get it kind of created. I know Holly's been working really hard on that.
It's already created.
And that's the thing, I wasn't at that meeting when they were going through. But you got a
And then
question?
my other question is, that I had, okay, you said that Zach has a card, Holly has a card, Sarah has a card. Then,
No, they have
So
access, they have
I don't
access
have any-
to the
They're
card.
that's
not
just what we
signers
got
on the
through.
card.
No, I'm a signer on the card.
Okay, you're a
But I
signer
don't
on the
have the
card.
card, I've never laid
Okay,
fingers
so
on that
who
card.
can sign the card out?
Don't want to.
Any of the council members?
What I'll put in your policy to do?
I think the signers are Zach, Holly, and you, right?
those cards have our names on them.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought you said,
Can
I thought there
other
was just
council
one card.
members use your card,
Uh,
or do you know?
My card's not even activated, so
Yeah,
no.
neither of y'all's have been activated, they're still sealed in their envelopes.
I
That's
think
my
since you
favorite.
voted to use that, y'all need to get it in place. I don't know why, with all this mess going on, that you know that you've got all these missing receipts and stuff, you're not doing something.
Well, also since they have like cards with their own individual names on it, even if you go into like the whole account, it'll tell you each individual card, which card was used, so it will go back to that each individual person. So you don't have to question of who is using that account, it'll show it by whoever card
You
was
should
used.
have too, I would think, a receipt that has whoever signed for it. Whoever
Well, yeah,
used
I
it
mean, there
can
should be
sign
like a
it.
log where they put their name on it, and say what it was used for, and then log in a receipt on the computer for sure. But I'm just saying, like, if they each have a name on a card, then you'll know which card was used and who did it.
And I'll take one more question.
I just want to make sure I get a clarification on, I want to make sure I'm clear about this. The majority of these happened 3 years ago?
It's throughout the time period from 3 years ago to 2025. If you go through the complaint, you can actually see the specific dates, but it's throughout time.
Okay.
And it happened under, that's why I talked to current city secretary, old city secretary, current mayor, past mayor, past mayor.
Right. But the majority of it was 3 years ago?
No, it was spread out throughout.
No,
Throughout?
that's the missing receipts.
Okay. The missing receipts were 3 years ago?
And you can see all the dates in that attachment A.
Okay.
There's other ones that we haven't found specifically, but again, it's more of that cost benefit analysis.
And the only other question I have is the, what you was talking about to put into place for a per diem in regards to the Brazos Landing and that charge there, would that also cover the Waco Waffle situation?
I was within the per diem on that one.
It would be within it. The main issue is just you want your city council to go and actually establish something so that it's not being done weekly. You want to make
Okay.
sure that you're actually creating some sort of policy to limit it, I'll check it.
Well, when you're like a 1099 worker, you're allowed to tax write off like one expensive meal a month. So, I mean,
It's more just whether you want city funds to go there. And y'all could say no
True.
city funds for that, or it could be with no limitation.
Shouldn't it be budgeted?
That's something you consider.
It should be
Is-
budgeted, you've got expenses.
Most of the other, I checked on most of the other
No,
cities,
we're not doing
most of the other cities come out of the general budget. I checked with the budget.
Without going any further,
Yeah.
so there is no set policy on whether or not the card can be used for business lunches or anything of that nature?
not at the moment, they need to create one if they're gonna do that.
No.
That'd be something to take off in this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Billy, one last question, and then I'm gonna move on from this
Got a
report.
couple of comments, but most of that missing receipts came off reviews on card 2. Okay? There was 2 cards originally when those cards were copied, card 1 and card 2. Now, there is 3 cards now that you've got, one of them is missing, not back there anymore. It's been invalidated, so I mean, that's not a problem. But somebody got a third card after the original card. Okay, the other thing, and this is the reason I kept preaching all the time about, you need to use purchase order. And if receipts come up missing, you can match up the purchase order with the amount spent, and you know what's spent. That needs to be instituted. You're part of the purchase order, so you've got a paper trail.
With that, that's my recommendations on everything, that's the process. So I'll leave it to the city council to decide what to do next, December, and from there. This isn't directly on the agenda, so you'll be limited in what you can do tonight specifically. So that's why it's a future thing to consider. That's it.
P&Z,
We didn't have a meeting because we didn't have a quorum. The way I understand it, we're gonna have enough people to have a quorum, hopefully have a meeting next month. What we wanna highlight on is to look at, to start the planning process. Again, what I'd like to do is ask the counselor to come, when we get the people in place, everybody in place, to come give a presentation on planning to everybody, so everybody can be, you've done it once before.
Okay.
We want to do it again because we're all new people.
Okay. Tell me the date when you get one.
And then I'm going to try to do a little presentation on taking a look at what other cities are looking at and what they're facing. If everybody would just understand, maybe see what other cities are facing when it comes to data centers. So I'll do that in my planning and zoning meeting later
on data centers,
on data centers.
you need to talk.
Yeah.
So, I got a question. So does TML have anything, like webinars or something that the planning and zoning members could actually watch prior to him giving his presentation, so they're not,
Land
I mean,
use,
it
land
might,
management.
I can try to find something.
just curious if there's something.
I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but I'll take a look.
I can think of 3 that are land use, land management. There's actually planning and zoning module. Counselor, if we have someone here, do we appoint them now? The P&Z, do we have, is there formality?
So it's
For
under
Marvin?
the consent agenda now. It's gonna-
Right, it's under consent agenda, this is new.
Yeah, you can just appoint them.
Do we need to take a vote, or
You would want to put who it is, and then go for so.
Marvin is gonna put in for P&Z? And then do we take a vote? Mr. Ward, Counselor, do we take a vote, or is he just confirmed?
So they need to vote.
You would have to vote. Now, the consent agenda, you can't just vote on everything all at once. That's why it's on the consent agenda. So you just need to make sure you know who actually is.
I thought there was 2 people they could do it at the same time.
What I'm asking is, how do we do, was there someone else that was gonna be for P&Z?
I would just select who you're gonna do a motion, second motion, and then actually put them in, just like you normally do.
Okay, so consider an act upon?
Yep.
Okay, okay, gotcha. We don't have a budget meeting yet, so consent agenda.
We got a budget committee. We got
4 applications, what are you doing?
There's no report.
No, we don't have a committee, it's not in place. Consent agenda. We will after this, I think. Council to consider any agenda item marked with an asterisk under the consent agenda. Any council member can request that a particular item be removed from consent for further discussion. Approval of October finance report. Do I have a motion for an approval?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Rick makes a motion, do I have a second? Ollie seconds, do we want to open the floor for debate?
Well, just move.
Robert's rules.
Let's go to the next one, please.
No. No debate? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous? Consider and act upon authorization to issue payment for pending bills, purchase orders, and/or accounts payable.
Motion to approve. Second.
John makes a motion, we pay our bills. Rick second, all in favor? No debate? All in favor? Unanimous? Consider and act upon any application to fill vacancies on the budget committee.
You got 4 people.
There's 4 spots, right?
There's 3 spots, and you can put more in, so you would have to select at least 3, and you could select all 4 if you wanted.
I suggest it might be
Was a ball, I'll say a quorum.
the 4 of them.
Yeah,
I make a motion, we accept all 4 applicants.
I second it.
John makes a motion, Bucky seconds. Any debate? All in favor? Unanimous? Consider and act upon any application to fill vacancies on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I make a motion that we, what's that?
Pastor Marvin Ward.
Okay, I make a motion, Mr. Pastor
Marvin Warrior.
Marvin Warrior is in the budget committee. Not budget committee, planning and zoning.
I'll second.
Bucky makes a motion, we accept Marvin Warrior. Rick seconds. Any debate? All in favor? Unanimous.
Congratulations.
Okay, items to be considered. Consider and act upon children at play signs.
Okay. If we could put this off till the next meeting, I'll bring what it's gonna cost exactly. I got a roundabout thing, it's gonna be around 15 to 17 to 2,000, around there. Because I looked at the signs and you can buy them in bulk and buy, you can buy 20 at a time, and we've counted up 11. But I think we can just do it with 10, because we put 4 on Quill and Trace, and I think 3 would do all right, because it stops right beside the creek, but it starts back up in the front. So I said we can do with 10, and then later on we can put them down by the Silver River and on Joanne Drive. It's just I'm doing the big main roads first, the ones with a lot of kids by the school and stuff like that. So I'll bring next month at the meeting, I'll bring exactly what it costs, and then I'll give y'all the paperwork, and y'all can decide whether y'all want it or not.
So it sounds like you want to make a motion to table?
Yeah, I'll table it till the next meeting.
Councilman McAdams makes a motion to table. Do I got a second? Any debate? All in favor? Unanimous?
Who seconded it?
Jonathan. Consider an act upon John Adams' variance request.
Okay, young man, I would love to go for y'all. I would love for y'all to have this. But the way we got it set right now, if we just let y'all have it, man, we'll be in the wrong because we denied so many people already. I'm sorry, I want y'all to have it. But that's my point. I got to stick with what everybody did. So I'm sorry, but you can let them talk.
Bucky makes a motion to deny. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. I'm not denying it. I'm just telling them where it's coming from me, because it's on record. It's on record once I say something. And now I'm for y'all guys.
I am. But anyway, did anybody else wanna speak? Because we're in discussion on that, right?
No, well, we're making sure the council understands. So I mean, just because you've denied variances in the past, you can always have the option to grant one. The only thing I always warn of is just if you grant a lot of variances, it just brings into question why have a law at that level at that point. It might warrant that. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that y'all can. Now, Bucky's consideration, y'all done that in the past. That's something you can consider, as long as you understand that you still can do it in the future.
Bucky said it's a dose of truth. It was rough, but it was true. I really like you guys. I like what you stand for. I like what you do. I like how you got through the floods. I'm obviously a big fan of the community. Man, I've been praying about this, and I've been praying silently, and I've been praying in the back. And at the end of the day, it's just, Bucky's right. It's just not right or fair. Even though I might favor you, God's not a respecter of persons or favoritism.
Are you making a motion? We gotta do a motion second, then we discuss.
There has been people, even from your community, that have come up before you, and we've denied them. And it just doesn't, it's hard, man. It's even harder the second time around than it was the first time.
Were those people within areas like this, or was it?
What was the cabinet maker?
Right down here. So, it was kinda, not.
Yeah, he was right off here, wasn't he?
Yeah, right off here.
Yeah, he's around the residence.
So, and we denied him, and it was family too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was family, we denied him. So,
It's hard, it sucks. There's no two ways around it. It sucks, because it's a law we're having, it's something we're having to uphold that sucks. I mean, there's just no two ways about it, because we're trying to protect the city, but at the same time, we have good people that I would love for you guys to be here, and.
I know this is a little bit of a tweak, but we're debating without a motion in place.
No, I know, it's hard.
So,
I'll make a motion to deny.
Jonathan makes a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I abstain.
I second.
Holly seconds.
I abstain.
Now we open for debate.
I abstain.
Anyone want to debate? All in favor?
Abstain.
Abstain,
Abstain.
or you're in favor?
I'll just,
Hold on. I gotta count the votes. Holly, you were for? Rick is for?
I abstain.
You're, okay. 3 abstains and 2 noes. That's never happened
3
before.
abstain.
So that's a no.
Three
No, that's a no.
abstains and a no.
It's a
It's a
no.
no.
Okay.
Who was the other abstain? That,
Rick and.
Rick, Bucky, and Zach.
okay.
I thought that,
I don't know what you do with that.
Are you
Well,
abstaining, or are you voting?
No, you're abstaining.
I voted.
No, he's right, because
Mayor
it's just
gets a
no's. No, I'm not even breaking a tie.
It's a tie.
No,
It's not a tie. It's 3 abstains, but
It's 2 to
it's 2
0.
no's. Yeah, it's 2 to I'm not voting,
The
basically.
abstains are like no votes.
Can you move forward with only 2 votes?
Okay.
Okay.
It's a majority.
it's 3.
You got 3.
It's the majority.
Oh, I thought you said
I
abstain.
voted based on the motion you made.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. My
I
bad.
don't like it, but I don't, I mean, I'm not enjoying voting that way, but
So you voted 2.
Okay, so the motion carries, motion denied. Did you get the, Sarah, you get them all?
Yes.
Okay. Consider and act upon authorizing the city secretary to return the unallocated coronavirus state and local funds. What's the amount?
It's almost $1,400. The exact amount I have on the thing, but
Yes.
I make a motion that we return them their money.
I second that.
Holly makes a motion, we return the unspent funds. Bucky seconds. All, open for debate? All in favor? Unanimous? Consider an act upon the closure of the coronavirus account after the funds are returned.
I'll make a motion to close the account.
Jonathan makes a motion, we close the account. Do I got a second? Floor open for debate. Anyone want to debate?
Is there a reason that you would want to keep it?
All in favor? Unanimous? Consider and act upon pay increase for Mr. Billings' work for the city cleanup.
I'll make a motion to remove this.
Remove it or deny it?
Remove it under the.
Okay.
Said he didn't want it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because we didn't make it.
Jonathan makes a motion that we remove from the agenda.
Second it.
Bucky seconds, all in favor?
I'll abstain. But I wouldn't do it for 5.
Everyone in favor except for Zach. He abstains. Consider and act upon CD 0693 renewal for December 17th.
I make the motion that we table this because we don't have renewal rates from the bank yet, and we cannot determine whether or not how we want to renew them.
Ollie makes the motion that we table this item. Do I get a second?
Second.
Bucky seconds, open for debate. Any debate? All in favor? Unanimous? Consider and act upon CD 0753 renewal for December 22nd, 2025.
I make the motion that we remove, or table this item as well, because for the same reason, we don't have the rates from the bank.
Holly makes a motion that we table this item. Do I get a second? Jonathan seconds. Open for debate. Any debate?
Okay, the only reason I put this on here,
Oh, wait, we gotta.
No, this is the CD. This is the second CD.
oh, 16, yeah. All right.
All in favor? Unanimous? Considering it upon conducting a forensic audit.
I'm gonna explain why I put this on here first. I put it on here, I get phone calls at my house, they call, the citizens call me up, or they'll message me. And anytime y'all want something put on the agenda, just call me or text me, because I'll put it, I don't care what it is, I'll stick it on there. So that's why I stuck it on there. I stuck it on there because the citizens, a bunch of citizens asked me to put it on there. So that's why I put it on there. But if it does cost $30,000, I think it's ridiculous to pay that much. But if it's lower, I don't think it's ridiculous. So I didn't say put it off until we find out more how much it's going to cost. So I didn't say put it off to another day. Yeah, table it until we find out how much it really costs, and because citizens did ask me about it.
Yep.
A bunch of them. So if they're going to ask me, they want something. So just table it till next month.
I'll say this real quick as the chair. We're up here in a leadership position. People ask all the time. It's incumbent upon us that are sitting up here to help people understand what the situation is. So if there's no there, we shouldn't be afraid. I tell people all the time. I show people all the time. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. We just look at all tonight, but this isn't true. So, and I would encourage everyone up here, you're leaders, not followers. We don't go by mob rule. I mean, or we can.
Well, we can't,
Yeah.
we're not in the debate stage
Yeah.
yet.
No,
Have a motion.
Do
I did.
Yeah, he made a
motion on the
motion,
table?
we don't-
Do we got a second to table? Okay, open for debate. Polly?
I mean, you were debating, so I was
Yeah.
wondering if that's what we were doing right now.
Yeah.
We didn't have
I
a
just
second.
wanted to.
That's right.
I didn't second.
I don't disagree with you in the fact that you're saying that we're all leaders up here and we can't just say yes, yes, yes to everything. However, I'm going to kind of go against the grain and say, when we sign off as council members up here, we sign a due diligence to the city. We represent all of the city of Gholson, not just the people that we agree with, not just half of the city, but we try to represent all of them. So even when you have a very high percentage of your voters, if you count the voting public of the last election, who are requesting this information for us just to let it go on deaf ears, is not doing our due diligence, and I'm just gonna leave my comment at that.
And I counter that real quick. There was no due diligence done on this whatsoever. Nobody called the auditor. We get an auditor. I was the only one that contacted the auditor. So an accusation, this is what we're facing. An accusation gets thrown out. Everyone runs crazy with it. We're like, oh, it's got to be dealt with. And then when we look into it, we call the auditor. Hold on. Let me finish my thought.
You have to stay
You
independent.
gotta stay independent.
No, actually, in small city council, and again, on
No,
Robert's
Robert's
rules,
rules, you gotta stay independent. Small,
city council.
bring that book out right now and show him.
No, we're not doing this during a meeting, Counselor.
Why not?
Why not? Because you're wrong, Eddie.
We're not gonna do this every single time. It's not gonna happen.
Because you're wrong.
I run the meeting, like it or not, I run the meeting.
Do we even
And
have
we
a
can
second?
discuss this after.
Did we even have a second on this motion?
Yeah, I think we did.
She seconded it, right? Didn't you
Yeah, we
second
did.
it? Put it, I tabled it.
Anyway, my point, I'll make this really quick. Let's investigate these before they go on the agenda. Like, let's,
Who seconded
Who
this?
seconded the motion? I did not second it.
Bucky's.
There's a motion on the table right now. Bucky's motion to table it.
Motion to table.
yeah, motion table.
Does anyone second that?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were doing.
No, I said we don't
Okay.
have
It
to.
said like 5 months ago.
So I'm going to go counter your argument there.
Well, hold on, we got a second. Can we get a second so we can discuss? Okay, Jonathan seconds, now we can discuss.
So I'm gonna counter your argument there. We can't actually talk about anything as a council until it is put on the workshop agenda for us to do so. It doesn't mean we have to bring anything to a vote. It means we have that conversation and we bring it out to the open. So Bucky wasn't calling for anything to be put to a vote tonight. He was calling for the discussion of the topic, which we can't do without it being on an agenda, right?
Well, but before.
Can we talk about
Yeah.
things without it being on the agenda?
Well, no, you can talk with the public, yeah, I do all the time.
No, can we talk as a council about things without it being on an agenda?
No,
Okay, so then, it got put on the agenda to have a discussion. It didn't get put on the agenda to start
Voting for it.
stuff. My personal opinion, I do not feel like a forensic audit is going to turn up anything major, scandalous. I think it's going to show a lack of internal controls, which is not something I've held against my own personal opinion since looking at things. So, but what I am saying is that we cannot talk as a council about things without putting things on the agenda. And if we are doing our due diligence and we are representing the entirety of the city, we have to take those concerns from the voting people seriously, whether we 100% agree with what their opinion is or whether we don't. And that is what I am trying to say. And I don't think that everybody ought to get hot-headed or anything over the topic other than the fact that we wanted to have a discussion about it. And that's it.
no, and I respect that. I respect your opinion, but a lot of this could be headed up. I get phone calls all the time that I have to shut down and say, no, that's not accurate. No, we don't want to go down that road. No. And it doesn't even reach you guys. Because why blow it up into something that it's not? A lot of this stuff we're feeding into it. If you take an unrealistic premise and you feed it oxygen and say, yeah, let's talk about it, then people believe. People think I've got a credit card. People think we needed a forensic audit before tonight. People didn't even know we had an auditor before tonight. So, yeah,
I trust the auditor. I trust what he said.
Yes.
Guys clearly knows what,
Yes.
he's been doing this a long time. And I trust him.
so the motion's to table.
We were just having, he made a motion to
We
table.
got a table in a second. Are we done with this main or we?
The forensic audit's been tabled, that's been tabled, there's been 2 votes.
No, is there any more debate? Anyone up here want to say anything else?
No,
No.
I don't want to say anything else, I want to go to
Okay.
the next thing and get home.
Yep.
Gosh, and so do they, like, let's go, man.
Okay, all in favor of table, and table until next month?
I don't think they said you tabled it.
Okay, are you in court?
I don't mind, so,
Okay.
come on.
Consider an act upon amending the budget to account for legal expenses.
The amount's, 2,800.
I make a motion that we amend the budget for legal expenses.
A second.
Where are you moving it from?
Where it's coming from.
As well as looking to see what's left in the park. Yeah, we're just gonna shut it down here.
I think 50.
50,000?
Yeah, so we take it from the park.
1,800 from park to legal fees.
Yes.
Jonathan makes a motion that we take 2,800 from the park and move to legal fees for seconds. Open for debate. All in favor?
What about you,
Holly?
Yes, I raised my hand.
Everyone in favor but Bucky? You're a no vote, right, Bucky?
Yeah.
Bucky's a no.
Executive session?
Executive session,
We do need executive session.
yeah,
It'll be short.
Come on, let's roll.
8:36. We're adjourning for executive session.
See you later.
What if a GoFundMe was set up for the first experiment, where the people of Gholson City just food for thought, just food for thought.
Would need to probably answer that question, because I don't know if the city can set that. But they might be able
Or, see, perhaps it can be done independently.
I don't know. That would also be a thing.
Somebody's going to get me. But I had a piece of paper written in front of me.
That's all these guys have done, but I work. They're guys that do.
That's it, they're using some of the reasons they go to
They do.
They got raised.
Commercial construction or construction or.
What happened if someone said that they
The only thing they're doing better than it is for a while. So Bill must have, Bill is the only thing for did anything, do anything.
Really?
At least everybody kind of has a
We have an
role.
ongoing contract.
I'm not saying I agree with everybody on it. Some of them I agree with, some of them, but at least that's something, yeah. Who's gonna get to work on the zoning till then?
For instance, Shannon's down in Florida.
Maybe you should be their,
It's a $14 million project, which is not that. big.
advisor, their advisor.
For an excavation project.
We have
yeah,
people that
14
drop off a heads.
Depends on whether I want to do that.
Well, think about it.
Florida's a long ways away. So, of course, with that, so I'm contracted with that, it's really hard to keep.
It's a hard call. Yeah.
How's he doing?
Well,
About the same.
I got a guy just moved in next door to me, he has his own company, I don't know if you know why.
And I need to get back down and stuff. I haven't done it.
He's moved on.
Oh, okay. I won't remember, but I'll ask when I go in. I might remember 305.
Well, I don't know if he does
He's
the
the one
extension.
fixing the
He's not
water.
happy.
Yeah, he's got the water.
No, he's
He's not
mad
happy
at
with
the
me.
world, he's
He's not happy
scared.
with me
Yeah.
because of where he's at. He wants to be home, but
No, you don't have anybody there to help. You know, yes.
I think to, services.
I don't agree with what the data center should be in Todd area because they're going to use our
Healthcare.
River Basin for all these.
Yes.
Your data center focus is from
Just figuring on
Dallas, Fort
calls,
Worth.
because he would have to have 20 calls a week.
Yeah.
I just figured on calls, you're looking at 16, 17,000 a month.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, even Laura Lee pays for Gwen, and she's in a facility and it's over 7 a month.
Yes.
I mean, the only
And she's in a
extent that I know about it is that I watched the summer on
West
medicine.
Texas, I think it's
Medicaid
in West
qualified.
I see them buying up lots of property. I know Amazon bought 127 last
Eating up
year.
everything he had, he worked as a tail off for it.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm making say half.
Any project that takes 5 years to build. It's a tough deal. You're talking about a power plant. That's how long it
Bill,
took us
how
to
long
build
have
a
you
power
lived
plant.
around here?
I'm talking
Kevin?
No, but
Can I get your last name?
Yep, go. G-O-A-T-E-S.
G-O-H-A.
Just like the A.
Oh, okay.
Except there's an E that separates it.
G-O-A-T-S?
G-O-A-T-E-S.
T-E-S. Yes. Okay.
Area code 254.
You're a fast talker. 254.
719.
right?
6214.
No, we're just talking about the accident in general.
All right.
And hopefully we'll have a meeting next month.
Okay, that's
Figure out a good day.
Okay,
I'll be here. I guess I'll be here, yeah.
I'm retired.
Okay.
I don't know if I will be.
Any-
We were
any-
having on Tuesdays.
I may not
I'll
be.
try to see if we
I
can
won't
keep
be.
it.
Well, no, I think it's on the 15th, and I think I'll be doing it. I don't know where I'll be on
We'll go ahead and
15th.
I'm going to,
Elizabeth. We'll be here or another.
Elizabeth
I'm
she has a choir,
I'll be here, no problem.
Yep,
their Christmas concert.
I'm bored.
or They call
Thank
it
you
winter
for giving me opportunity.
absolutely.
All right, have a good night.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna go
We're glad
myself.
you're doing it for us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We need it.
Well, I was in a small town a while back and I found out through planning and zoning, different things that, cities kind of do picturistic stuff. And because certain cities don't put things in, when you come along with an idea, they're like, we did consider that.
Yes.
Especially like working with the homeless or shelter.
I'm not sure you figured that out, that this is right now. You said through one of these meetings.
Well, this one's a little bit more spicy. That's about it, but you know, it's all,
Let's see, now, we had one this year that we had a physical.
it takes away from. Yeah, I missed that one.
I know,
I'm glad I did too.
we didn't go out to watch it, but we were standing here, all of a sudden, all these people. And then the next one, it was a bunch of grown men yelling at each other like 2-year-olds.
Shoulder surgery.
And it has gotten better this year, believe it or not, but it's like,
Looking for things, information that you would. Change is not always easy for people who are sedentary.
But it's inevitable.
But it's inevitable, that's right.
That's one of the
And the
problems,
deal
it
is,
is inevitable.
a lot of these people that are sitting up, let's rephrase that. All of these people that are sitting up there didn't grow up here. None of them did. Like, we all did.
We all did.
And so they're trying to say, well, we're trying to make it back like it was.
Well, they don't know what it
And they don't know what it was like, because it wasn't like this. People didn't act
No.
like this. It didn't look like this. I mean, yes, there were junky places, but there's some really pieces of work.
So people were neighborly.
And everybody liked each other. We didn't all agree about everything, but nobody did these
Like I was telling the
vendettas.
story, my dad had a dairy business out here. And we had several dairies out here. And there was a time when I was young and still in school,
The threat of rain, back then we all had swear words, we didn't have regular. And there was a threat of rain, and one of the neighbors there, and there was a bunch of hay on the ground. And so we all were done, but we went as a family and helped them all the hay. And put it in the barn all night long, we hauled all night long, and got it in the barn before the
That would just do
came and
some
accountability. My mother let me skip school with a check.
Oh,
Get up all night long.
Oh, you remember that one, yeah.
But that's what we used to do.
That's all we want to see.
That's the kind of thing people do.
We live back to back from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, what happens is people get their own little land and then it becomes their own little kingdom. And so you forget that we're all here together to serve in our communities. But some people, when they get something big and that's it, they say, this is my little kingdom, anything that's gonna threaten that, I own it.
Understood.
Understood.
But they also come out and say, when we move to the country, we can do it any way things we want to. It can look like yuck or it can look great. Because we moved to the country. Well, that's really
We got shot at.
garbage. Some people, we've had to work with people down on my little lane. They were shooting at things.
I think I saw something a while back about Texas. You can shoot in your own yard. Isn't it in Texas you can shoot in your own yard?
You can shoot a shotgun in less acreage, but to shoot a rifle, you have to be on 10 acres. That's a state law.
Right, but you can't shoot on your property if it's 10 acres. Because I saw, I see this thing called Love Thy Neighbor, and he was doing that, and they kept calling the cops, and I was gonna say, hey, you're
What can you do about it?
He can do that.
Moving forward.
But it has to be 10 acres.
10 acres. I got it.
Well, there's a guy that lives two lights down from us. When he first moved there, he built himself I guess the thing you shoot into, I think he started doing really high explosive deals. He was shooting at, and you want to talk about going on, that got stopped.
The thing about it is you're protected.
Anybody who murdered people in the country.
Even though you're on 10 acres.
Right, so you better be shooting really into a hill.
Yeah, and that, but he was shooting, put this explosive deal, I mean, it was horrible.
So, Gholson is a city.
We live back, we back it up.
Returning from executive session at 8:45.
All right.
I'm like part
Bye-bye,
of that.
kid.
Have a good week. Oh, and have a good Thanksgiving.
Think about
Okay,
it.
returning from executive session at
The
8:45.
guy that did it was a crook. He made opportunities for every homeowner in the city. Yes.
Consider that on any
I
of
can build my house
Thank
and
you for
pay the
being here,
streets
Kevin.
with the city's money that I live on.
All right.
I was 12 years old, so I know everything about this little community.
We almost went from
There's nothing to act on.
having a
Do
discussion.
I got a motion to, do we got anything for next month?
No, I just love to see the signs, the kids' signs.
Everything you take,
Let's put it off for next month. I'll give you that one.
Hey, we're not closed out yet, guys. Purchase of a bug can for outside. Rick, you got anything for next week
Just,
or next month?
no, the signs, the kid signs, get those,
Bucky?
Bucky's, but.
Bucky, did you have something for next month? Holly?
Not at this time.
Do I got a motion to adjourn?
Wait, the Waco sign, the speed trap signs, is that where we at with that? Is that
Still waiting.
still waiting? Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Rick makes a motion, Bucky seconds, all in favor?
Yay.
8:47.
Yeah.
Yay.